The White House is bolstering its efforts to fight ransomware attacks in the U.S. A new multi-agency task force will focus on cryptocurrency and offer online resources to businesses and communities. Federal officials are even offering an 8-figure reward to catch cyber criminals. It comes just days after Russian-linked ransomware gang REvil disappeared from the dark web. Jeff Begayes has the details from Washington.
With crippling ransomware attacks on the rise, most coming from Russia-based groups, the Biden administration tonight is taking action, beefing up its defenses. Following the pipeline hack that caused a run on gas and the attack on the meat processor JBS, the State Department is offering up to a $10 million cash reward for tips leading to the arrest of those responsible. The move comes days after REvil, one of the most notorious ransomware gangs, mysteriously went dark, disappearing from the internet, leaving experts to speculate whether the group shut down voluntarily or whether the U.S. government was somehow involved.
You said 3 weeks ago there would be consequences. Will there be, sir? Yes.
Late last week, President Biden vowed to take action against ransomware gangs if President Putin didn't rein them in.
Can you repair relations today?
It followed a similar warning last month in Geneva during a meeting between the two men.
We have significant cyber capability, and he knows it.
But ransomware attacks have increased 93% over the last year, and cyber watchers say ransomware thieves won't scare off easily.
It's like whack-a-mole. They will reappear in another form. They have a very successful business model. They've been successful. They're committing a crime, and they're getting away with it.
One question is, what happens to all those companies that were attacked by REvil but had not paid the ransom before the group went dark? The data of those companies is still encrypted and, unfortunately, unusable. Lana.
Oh, my. All right, Jeff, thanks. For more on this, I want to bring in Maurice Turner. Maurice is a cybersecurity fellow at the Alliance for Securing Democracy. So, Maurice, the Biden administration says it will pay up to $10 million in cash rewards for information that leads authorities to ransomware hackers. How effective do you expect that this reward will be?
I'm not very optimistic that this tip program is going to work. The tips are only going to be good for those attacks that are targeting critical infrastructure and that are actually sponsored by nation states. So you have to think to yourself, who is the person who has access to that kind of information that's willing to become the enemy of the leaders of places like Russia or North Korea or China?
Well, Maurice, the Treasury Department also says that it's planning to crack down on ransoms paid through cryptocurrency platforms. Do you think that there are other financial-based measures that the government can explore in addition to this? And how effective do you expect that measure will be?
This is a great start. It definitely puts into practice that commitment by the Biden administration to go after corruption and cyber through the Department of Treasury. So I think, again, it's a good start, but it's going to be very difficult to track cryptocurrencies, especially since criminals are becoming more adept at using cryptocurrencies like Monero that are even more difficult to track than Bitcoin.
Well, Russian-linked ransomware group REvil, who we know from a lot of big headlines recently, they abruptly went offline, and there's a mystery surrounding their disappearance. But even before we get into that, Maurice, tell us what it means for compromised organizations that hadn't paid their ransoms.
It makes good business sense for ransomware groups to provide decryption services to their victims once they've paid the ransom. So the fact that this group went offline means that those organizations that were counting on that help, they just aren't going to get it. And so I hope that they have really good backups and that they have a recovery plan that doesn't necessarily count on the good faith of criminals.
Fair point. So what do we know about REvil's mysterious disappearance? And do you think that the gang is gone for good, or do you think it's going to make some form of a return?
That is definitely one of the big mysteries of the week in the cybersecurity world. It's not unusual for a ransomware gang to go dark if they feel like they're getting too much pressure and too much publicity. But really, they'll probably end up just popping right back up again with a new name and more victims. This is a $350 million a year industry for those gangs. So there's a lot of money to be made, and that means they're not going to leave money on the table if they can, in fact, take advantage of these millions of potential victims out there.
All right, Maurice Turner, thank you for joining.
Thank you.